Fighting is, of course, an inherently dangerous pastime on account of how people are always trying to punch you, or suplex you, or freeze you solid and then shatter you.
Sub-Zero wins.
So you'd think that participants in video game fighting tournaments wouldn't be trying to add to the danger they're in by fighting in some of the most ostentatiously dangerous places on Earth. And yet, as we've seen before on this channel, that absolutely isn't the case, as you'll see in these 7 more fighting game stages that are objectively terrifying and dangerous places to have a fight. Enjoy! Considering that the roster consists of Mario, several Pokémon, and the receptionist dog from Animal Crossing, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Smash Bros. Isn't a particularly deadly fighting franchise. Right up until Steve from Minecraft locks you in his house and blows it up with 70 pounds of dynamite and a bunch of creepers. If you're looking for a truly deadly place to have a Smash Bros. Fight, however, may we suggest the stage Poké Floats from Super Smash Bros. Melee, which takes place entirely on top of a series of helium balloons based on various popular Pokémon. Given that you can see clouds in this stage, we'd estimate you're anywhere between 6 and 10,000 feet in the air, which would be worrying enough if you were on a solid platform or powered aircraft, let alone an untethered, drifting, unstable balloon that is a weird shape because it's supposed to be a Squirtle. Being untethered, these balloons float around fairly randomly, and if you stay on one for too long, you're likely to be carried off screen to your death, so you'll need to make risky jumps to new balloons as they appear, all while the other characters are trying to kick you off to your death on the ground thousands of feet below. How did they even set this up? Were they dropped off by plane? Is there a crowd of delighted children below enjoying the balloons who are about to have their afternoon ruined when Luigi's corpse slams into the middle of the local fairgrounds? Nintendo are characteristically silent.
This ain't no goddamn vacation. You better hop back on the plane, bitch. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry, bitch.
Def Jam Fight for New York imagined a world in which, rather than attacking each other through fire diss tracks, early noughties hip-hop stars settled their differences by beating each other to death in junkyards and high-rise buildings. If you're wondering whatever happened to Sean Paul, apparently, Exhibit threw him out of a 10th-story window.
Yo, take it however you want to take it. You just plain suck.
Many of Def Jam's stages were total death traps on account of, for example, being in the middle of a ring of fire, but surely the deadliest of them all was the stage set in the 125th Street subway station. It's an extremely bad idea to have a fight here, not just because of the unforgiving pillars and railings around the place, but also because it's an active subway station, although apparently not one that trains stop at, because they are still tearing through here at incredible speeds throughout the match. The downside of this for the unlucky rappers who lose the match is that they can be thrown directly in front of the trains, having just enough time to stare their impending doom in the face before they're splattered into strawberry jam. Oh, is that where the name Def Jam comes from? Okay, I get it now.
Hey now, watch your step. Don't fall off, because it's a long way down from here.
If you thought fighting on top of a balloon was bad enough, get ready for Blue Sky Area from classic Dreamcast beat-em-up Power Stone 2, which is located on top of a flying airship. At first, this might seem like a more stable place for you to be throwing down on account of there being an actual platform for you to stand on, and the fact that the airship seems to be flying smoothly and predictably. Or at least it does right up until it starts to fall apart. As you continue fighting in Blue Sky Area, parts of the airship will start to explode and fall off, reducing the amount of space you have in which to fight. Eventually, the airship gives up the ghost entirely, pitching sideways and plummeting to the earth, at which point all the fighters start doing the same, flung into freefall. Incredibly, the fight keeps going at this point, with the fighters deciding that now is the perfect time to land a few blows. There are, however, a few umbrellas falling with you, and fighters who manage to grab one of those can slow their descent at the very end of the fall, while the unlucky umbrella-less ones smash into the ground. And then they all decide that things have gone way too far, and they call a truce while they try and process the incredibly traumatic moments of the last few minutes.
Powerful! Great!
Nah, just kidding. They keep fighting. Nice try, Power Stone 2.
Final round. Fight!
Now, I'm no fighting expert, but I'd say it's already a bad idea to have a fist fight on an ice floe in Antarctica while surrounded by legally protected species of penguin that are fully within range of your stray kicks. I'd say it's an even worse idea to have said fist fight while wearing as little clothing as Tekken characters are wont to do. For example, Devil Jin here has decided to turn up shirtless in a place where the average winter temperature is somewhere around minus 60 degrees centigrade or minus 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And don't even get me started on Hwoarang, who is fighting on the ice while not wearing shoes. Luckily, hypothermia takes about 5 minutes to set in, and Tekken rounds are 99 seconds long, so even after 3 rounds, the lucky victor will have about 30 seconds to enjoy their victory before their body starts shutting down. Enjoy it while it lasts, Hwoarang. Those penguins are definitely going to eat him. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is one of the best-selling manga series of all time, and the source material for various rad-as-hell video games, including JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle. All-Star Battle lived up to its name by letting players pick characters from all of the 8 then-current JoJo story arcs and have them do battle to determine who is the best at fighting, and using their stands, entities that they can summon to help them in battle. Another feature of All-Star Battle was what the game called stage hazards, which were stage-specific environmental dangers that fighters had to watch out for, which ranged from the conventional, like falling chandeliers, to the wacky, like dinosaur attacks. And also this guy, who seems annoyed. To our mind, though, the most ill-advised place to have a fight in All-Star Battle is the stage known as the Battlefield, a circular arena that is apparently used for races between chariots pulled by vampire horses. How do we know this? Because they're still doing it while the fight is going on, and if you happen to be standing in the wrong place, you're getting trampled. These horses will keep doing the rounds for as long as you're fighting, but if one of the fighters hits their opponent with what the game calls a situation finish, the horses finally decide they've had enough, run in, and hoof them to death. I mean, it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't know what I expected.
Let's go, club.
1995's Marvel superheroes from Capcom featured plenty of stages that would be considered unwise places to have a scrap. For instance, on top of a speeding bullet train, outer space, and hell. For more immediate danger, however, we look to Wolverine's stage, the Rocky Mountains. At first glance, this stage doesn't seem too bad, taking place as it does on a wooden bridge over a river. The thing with superhero fights, though, is that they tend to be quite destructive, and once enough damage is done to the bridge, it will collapse, taking you and your opponent down into the river, where the bridge has now become a raft, and you have become trapped on an unscheduled whitewater rafting expedition. But this is a fighting game, so instead of maybe trying to paddle to shore, the fight just continues until one of you is knocked out, at which point that character will follow the raft over a waterfall to their presumable death, while the victor lands on a convenient rocky outcrop so they can do their victory pose.
Superior attack.
A reminder that Iron Man has rocket boots and could have got out of there at any time. Troubling.
Round 1. Fight!
The Mortal Kombat tournament isn't really one for taking entrant safety into consideration, mostly because most participants get their spine ripped out within about 10 minutes of filling out the sign-up sheet. That being said, it is notable just how many Mortal Kombat stages are objectively lethal places to hang out. For example, this one, which is right next to a big pit of acid.
Fatality.
Possibly the most dangerous Mortal Kombat stage ever, though, is the Falling Cliff stage from Mortal Kombat Armageddon, in which your fights take place on a crumbling, precarious platform on top of a rock spire in a region that is experiencing pretty much constant earthquakes and tremors. As the fight continues in the falling cliffs, the fighting arena gets smaller and smaller as parts of it fall away due to earthquakes. This, it would seem, should be a sign for the fighters to call a temporary truce so they can find somewhere a bit more sensible to have their fight. But, this being Mortal Kombat, what instead happens is that the fight carries on until one player is caught in the collapsing part of the level, at which point they plummet off the edge and land on a big spike.
Quan Chi wins.
Which, I'm not sure if this is by design or just an animation error, always seems to go directly into their butt.
Kitana wins.
To be fair, this was all covered in the tournament sign-up sheet. Gotta read that small print, people.
Liu Kang wins.
So those are even more of the worst places fighting game characters have ever decided to throw down, but if we've missed off another of your favourites, do drop it in the comments below, and be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the OX Supporters Club on Patreon at patreon.com/OX Club if you enjoy what we do. Thanks for watching!